Hey, good morning, everybody. Brandon coming back at you with some training advice, perspective more than anything. And this one's kind of multifaceted. I'm going to title it Transfer of Training, okay? And this might be a little bit more from the training standpoint. I assure you there's application to everybody who watches this. But when it comes to the training aspect, the physical training aspect, a lot of times the transfer of training is a concept that isn't explored very often. Like when I look at the demands of a particular activity, okay, you might be a firefighter, law enforcement person. You might be, if you're an athlete, okay, or if you're a coach in charge of athletes, thinking of transfer of training effect is an important concept, okay? Outside of establishing a foundation of strength and fundamentals, once that's established, you start to go up the pyramid of more complex movements, okay? And a complex movement pattern that's typically talked about amongst a lot of strength coaches and athletic development coaches is triple extension, okay? Which means extension of three joints, ankle, knee, hip, okay? And then you could even talk about fourth extension of the shoulders and upper traps and stuff like that. So a lot of times because when you think about jumping, when you think about getting off the ground, it's triple extension. Okay, see the extension through here? All right, that's triple extension. Or if you're running, it's kind of hard to do. It's hard to model that, but triple extension when you're sprinting, okay, it's an important thing. Jumping, sprinting, in explosive sports or competition of other kinds. Anyway, so a lot of times people teach Olympic lifts, hang cleans, power cleans, snatches. Okay, snatches are kind of, a lot of people think as the king of lifts. Okay, it's very complex. It's kind of difficult to learn, okay? And I'm going to show you what I think is a great variation of the snatch via kettlebell, okay? And I think the more I play around with this, I think it's easier to learn, okay? So people have to learn how to use kettlebells so they're not banging themselves. You can always wear a wrist pad, to reduce that. But the more I do this variation of snatching with two kettlebells, the more I think the transfer of training to a sport is probably going to be much higher. I don't have anything to back that up scientifically or research. Maybe they should look into that sometime. Look at barbell snatching versus kettlebell snatching and the transfer of training via vertical jump or some other means, power plate or something. But let me show you what I mean, okay? In a typical, barbell snatch, we're coming up here and then we got the different phases, but we're finishing here essentially. And that's a quick summarization, so don't pick me apart. It's complex, and with a bar, your body's got to move around the bar. It's kind of less fluid, okay? Because the real environment of sport and competition, unless it's barbell snatching, is fluid. It's not, very rigid like a bar, okay? And that's why I like the kettlebells, is because they're more fluid, okay? So here's my double kettlebell snatch, okay? Now you can do this with your heels staying glued to the ground, just like I did right there. I'll do it again. Heels stay glued to the ground. But if I want triple extension, see what I did? Watch my ankles. I can get triple extension, okay? And this is a mild weight. You can load that puppy up. But a lot more, I hate to use the word functional, but two different weights, that arm action is so much more pronounced and natural, okay? That jumping motion, if you were to videotape someone doing a barbell snatch and then look at their jumping motion, there's going to be some differences where here, I think you're going to notice less differences. So the transfer of training to the sporting field or arena where you compete is going to be more maximized, all right? I'm squinting because I don't have my contacts in. I get LASIK today. How about that? Okay, the other transfer of training thing I want to talk about real quick is this guy right here, honestly. Okay, I don't do this very much. So actually, you know what? Don't forgive me. If this offends you, that's your problem. This transfer of training, I'm talking Jesus Christ. I mean, you all have probably the best training manual probably in your home. Might be dusty, okay? But it's the Bible, honestly. It's the Bible. Reading that book and trusting my life to this guy right here has dramatically changed my life in so many ways. And when I think about all the nutritional advice and all the training advice that's dispensed, and that I've been able and privileged to work with a lot of people and dispense that information and help a lot of people, there's one thing that doesn't just get dispensed enough, certainly from me, and that's Jesus, honestly. You can train all you want, you can eat right, but I tell you what, despite all that, there's a gaping hole in most people, and I see it, and I apologize for not sharing it, okay? Here is one version via technology, but in real life, it's going to happen more from me because without getting into nitty-gritty details, Lord and Savior saved me from so many things in my life, and it's been an immense blessing in my marriage, as a father, in every capacity of my life. It has spilled over and blessed me and given me peace of mind because my eternity is secured. Okay, I don't worry about a lot of the things that I used to worry about because the end game didn't look good. The end game looks good for me, okay? Because I know where I'm going to spend eternity, and I know who I'm going to spend it with, and hopefully that's with you. So, Bible, read that puppy, and if you haven't given your life to him, seriously consider it. It's the most important decision of your life. And one thing about transfer of training is you open that book, the Bible. I got a buddy that calls it, and he may not have coined it, but Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth is the acronym for Bible, okay? Everything that you encounter in your life is in that book with the best wisdom you could possibly tap into, okay? And that's the creator of the world, all right? So with that, take the transfer of training from physicality. I hope you take this, more importantly, the spiritual training, transfer of training to your life, because that's the ultimate thing that matters in the end. God bless. Have a great day.